Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode on the After Maghrib podcast, where today we want to talk about all things relating to Christmas. Is it halal celebrating Christmas or is it haram? Do we celebrate Eid more, Christmas more as Muslims? What's going on? And more importantly, as Shia, where are we during Fatimiyya? Are we at a majlis? Are we at home eating some turkey? Before I begin, Assalamu alaikum Ahmed.
Salam, Sayed. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
I'm okay. Alhamdulillah, it's nice to be back. It's good to see you and good to see everyone at home. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Of course, if it's your first time listening to the podcast, hit the notification bell so you know when we release. And guys, just want to thank you as well because we've got a giveaway participation. Many of you have taken part in already. But if you haven't, check out our Instagram page and take part because you've only got 10 days left to enter or something like that. So
You've got until the 5th of January.
No, 5th we announce a winner.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
sorry.
But I think New Year's is when it ends. I don't know. We'll check it out, guys.
Realistically, I have no idea. We should know this.
We should know. We'll work it out. But you could win
clarify.
these nice mugs, and this is not the nicest gift. Trust me. There's a nice little hat. Chuck me that hat, Mr. Producer. There's a hat here. There you go. 313 awaited co, and also an amazing hoodie, which we've seen Sayed Ali rocking as well. But today we're talking about Christmas.
We are.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting for many Muslims, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Should we be excited? I think that's the question.
That's the main question. I think joining us to help us get into that is a good friend of ours, Husein Bandali. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How you
Nice
doing,
to
bro?
see you guys.
Nice to see you. How's things?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you guys
Yeah.
keeping?
Alhamdulillah.
Good.
Thanks for
Good.
coming on.
How have you been recently?
Yeah, all good. I mean, we're recording this just after the World Cup final, so I think that's
Crazy.
been that was a crazy day. I had the pleasure of spending the day with Ahmed watching that game. So
Don't sound too happy about that.
one of the best games of all time, I would say. And probably one of the best tournaments. So alhamdulillah, it's been good. But like we mentioned, also the month of Fatimiyya has been here already, and still some nights to come. So it's striking that balance again.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling having to.
Should it be weird?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's weird. On one side, you've got the GOAT winning the World Cup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like the way you feel about that, and then obviously Fatimiyya's coming up. Work is slowing down, I think, for a lot of people. So it's been hard to balance. So yeah.
So what's hard to balance? Like a real question.
Okay, fine. So I think a lot of people want to ask and want to know, how should we feel about Christmas? Okay, because we're Muslims, we have conflicting reports, opinions. On the ideological spectrum of Islam, you've got the liberal side who are generally okay with it. It's not a big deal. We live in the UK. It doesn't mean we're converting to Christianity, for example. And then you've got the others who say, nope, no trees, no presents, no gifts, no dinners, nothing. Carry on with your life as though you've just got another bank holiday or public holiday for non-UK viewers. So I think that's the hard thing. Like, where do we stand now?
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? Are we doing the wrong thing? Are we doing the right thing? If someone does something different, if I get invited to my friend who's a Muslim's house for a Christmas dinner, should I go? Should I not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. Maybe there might be some more hard things.
What would you say, Ali? How are you finding this whole period? How does it affect your life personally?
As in, it doesn't affect me personally.
Yeah.
So I think it's having an effect on my kids.
Okay.
From the perspective of, as a Muslim parent, trying to, keep the kids away from this whole Christmas happiness and greetings and seasons and whatnot. Because I think there's a big, shall I say, influence at school when it comes to celebrating Christmas. Like you've got my eldest coming home telling me, are we going to have a Christmas tree? Or, are we going to, it sounds funny, but are we going to leave a cookie for Santa? Am I on Santa's good list? All these things, I'm getting shocked. I'm like, what's going on? As Muslims, I wish they did the same for Eid, for example. It's now happening at Christmas. And I think it's worrying. It's worrying.
What do you reckon, Hussein?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from in terms of as a Muslim parent. Obviously, I can't speak on that personally, but having grown up most of my life here, as many of the viewers, I'm sure, from the UK, we've been surrounded by these festivities, especially Halloween, Christmas, and perhaps we've partaken or been influenced by the people around us, our friends, maybe even family as well. So I think it's important to strike a balance, because I think if you personally, I feel if you completely shut the idea out, that raises more questions, and it's then you start saying, well,
Kind of like
why is he keeping? Why is
Yeah.
it being kept away from me? Like, it's not that bad, My friends are giving each other gifts. That's good. People are spreading joy. That's good. So
Yeah.
it's finding, I think, an understanding of, what does Christmas stand for? And even on that point is so widely disputed. I mean, is it Christian? Is it Christianity? Was Prophet Isa actually born on
Christian essence,
25th
sure.
of December? So it's very confusing. And then Sheikh Google says a lot of things about some of the traditions that have been introduced over the centuries. Things like Christmas trees, Christmas wreaths, turkey. All of these things have all been sort of influences from pagan traditions.
Yeah.
So I think it's a holiday now that has many meanings, and it means something different to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And so I think it's finding that balance as Muslims. Okay, what is our stance on it, and how can we inform our kids about? There are positives, I would say, and we'll probably go on to speak about that. But what are the negatives of it, and how do we combat the negatives that come with that with our children, but also with ourselves? We're not immune to these.
So Sayed, let me ask you, based on all of that, because I think that was like a sick summary, mashallah, really good overview. But what Husein said, he's like, if you shut anything out, your kids will ask questions, and it might tempt them more. I think for anything in Islam which you avoid talking about or you shut out, if anything, that forbidden nature or that taboo nature of the thing will draw your children towards it more. So if you look at drugs or music or talking to the opposite gender or alcohol or anything, generally speaking, your kids are going to think, what's the problem? Especially like you said in terms of Christmas, I'm having fun. I'm in school. I'm getting gifts from my friends and it's fun. We get holidays. Everyone dresses up. So let me ask you, because obviously you said you're keeping your kids like off limits.
Yeah.
When
I say I'm keeping them off limits, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not shutting them away from the whole Christmas festive thing.
Yeah.
But at home, there's no such thing as Christmas. That's what I mean.
So do you live your life normally, basically?
Life is
24?
normal. I mean, it's just, as you mentioned earlier, it's just any other bank holiday.
Nice.
It's a holiday for us, and it's also a time where no one's actually working, so the whole family is together.
Okay.
It's a nice time of the year. But Christmas, and my children stays at school. And that's something I grew up with. I grew up in the UK. I've been I came here in 1992, but I went to school from, 95 or something. I never, all the way until sixth form, there was always, every single year, there was either like a Christmas carol being sung at school.
Yeah.
Or those, for example, as kids, Christmas plays. Every year there'll be like Christmas foods, Christmas lunch, whatever it is, and celebrations, Christmas cards. All this was part of the norm. But I knew growing up as a kid, from my parents, alhamdulillah, that is Christmas. You just do not take it too serious.
Okay.
It's something that Christians celebrate.
Okay. But that's what our culture tells us, right? Is that something our culture tells us, or does religion tell us that?
What do you mean? What's your question?
Like, for example, the trees and this and that. This is something that Christians do only, which is what you said. Is that something that our culture has told us to follow, or does religion say you can't practice Christmas?
Yeah, and your religion doesn't say you can't practice Christmas, but you can't believe in Christmas.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. I'm not saying when I say you can't practice Christmas, I don't mean you can have a tree at home. I'm against all of that, by the way. Because Christmas in itself is celebrating who? Isa, for example. Correct?
Yeah, as in
Number
it's meant
one,
to be,
he's not born
but
on
it's
the
now it's
25th.
secular, right?
Islamically.
Yeah.
No one cares about it right now.
Well, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And my
It's become
perspective,
secularized.
my own perspective, they are believing that that's the day Jesus was born. And according to Christians nowadays, he's the Son of God. That's associating a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we're celebrating his birth on that day, it's completely wrong. As Muslims. I don't know.
No, no, I get where you're coming from.
I don't want to sound boring, but it's the truth.
But I think, on Ahmed's point regarding whether, I think we're, just to make it clear, we're not here telling people they can or cannot celebrate Christmas. It's just, raising our points, our ideas, and then having a conversation about it.
100%.
In terms of, everyone, follows a Maraja in most cases. Do you know what the Maraja say on this matter?
Okay, so I'm just going to check what Sayed Ali Sistani says. He says, are Muslims... This is what a question... There's a couple
Someone's
of
asked to
questions.
say.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions that have been sent in. Are Muslims allowed to celebrate Christmas? To be more specific, are Muslims allowed to set up Christmas trees in their homes, give gifts to their Muslim family members within the household? Also, are Muslims allowed to hang Christmas tree lights in their homes and other form of Christmas observances, such as having parties and Christmas dinners? Which, to me, sounds like a full-on
This
Christmas.
is everything that's Christmas is about.
Gifts, dinners, parties.
Yeah.
Sistani says, in the name of Allah, if it's considered preaching and confirming another person's religion, it is not permissible. If it is considered preaching and confirming others' religion, it's not permissible. Similar question, someone else says, what's the rule on giving Christmas presents? He says, if it's considered a kind of confirmation or approval of their faith, it's not allowed. And there's so many others about New Year and the... Like, do you know what I mean?
Like we were discussing, as long as you're not, affirming a faith or an idea or an ideology, then it's okay. The actual, getting together and having a meal, giving someone a gift in of itself isn't haram.
Yeah.
So it's just that when associating it with the faith or with that, tradition is when the waters get murky, I guess. So, take it as you want. And I think there are many scholars that have spoken. I know there's Sheikh Hilli has these short clips as well, which was something I came across. I
think I saw that.
Yeah, which sort of
Instagram.
it sort of just gives you a bite-sized version of, whether it's celebrating is right or wrong. But I mean, personally, growing up as a family, less so now. Obviously, I'm a bit older. But when we were younger and my cousins were younger, we would gather at either our house or my uncle's house, and we'd just have a dinner together. Some of the cousins we probably hadn't seen in a while, so it was a good opportunity. Most people are off work, or at least have a few days off. So it was a nice opportunity for everyone to get together. Spend time together, catch up on how the year's been.
Yeah.
But it was not like there was no Christmas trees, there was no gift giving. However, now some of my cousins and people I see, it's very common to give their gifts to their kids.
Bro, there's gonna
during this Christmas period.
There's gonna be, I would go as far as to guess, like 30-40% of our community, or even the listeners at home, sorry guys to bring you into this, but I think a lot of people will put up trees, and they'll give gifts. At the end of the day, it's a very, very fine line to draw, and I think the most important thing is my humble opinion, is that's fine. Okay, fine, let's say you do these practices, but what is your priority as a parent, for example, or even as just someone who lives in the house? Is it to prioritize things like that? Like, it's time for Salah, but you put the Christmas tree decorations up and so on. Like, there comes a point where it doesn't click fully with how we think as Muslims. And then, for example, when it comes to the time of Eid, like you mentioned, Said, what do we prioritize more? Okay, we go for Eid Salah in the morning. The men, mostly in our community, will go, and you might dress up, and okay, then what? Do you know what I mean? So a lot of the time now, because we live in this secular, Western, sensationalist world, we've ended up prioritizing Christmas as a holiday season, because everywhere we go, we send emails, and at work, and the signatures are all Christmas replies. And then you go to the shops and there's Christmas decorations. You turn on the radio and it's Christmas music, and you're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
And then your kids and your family will grow up ingrained with that culture.
Speaking about work emails,
Yeah.
they actually signed one off wishing you a happy festive season in advance.
I did as well. Yeah. I mean, it's a good sales tactic.
But that's how it should be, I think, as Muslims. We're not trying to. First of all, we live in the West.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to kill the fun.
It's not about killing the fun. I think it's about respecting their belief or their values or their culture, whatever it is. Being here.
Yeah.
I think we should also be grateful being in the West, for example.
Yeah.
At the same time, we can't say what you're doing is wrong. That's their norm. That's their culture. That's their faith, for example. So there's nothing wrong, harm in greeting them with season's greeting, for example.
Yeah.
But to come wish them a Merry Christmas, I think is a bit questionable.
Okay.
I generally
Interesting.
think it's questionable.
There's gonna be dilemmas on that, guys. Hit the comments, tell us what you think. Is it haram, or not even haram, is it wrong to tell someone Merry Christmas? And hit that subscribe button while you're listening.
Look, if you're telling your Christian neighbor Merry Christmas, go for it.
Okay.
If you're telling your Muslim neighbor, or if you're telling your nan, or you're telling your auntie, or whoever it is for your own family, Merry Christmas, that's shocking.
Really,
Honestly,
yeah.
that's shocking. Honestly.
I mean, it makes sense.
Or if you're
Makes
buying her a
sense, yeah,
Christmas gift, if you're buying like your wife a Christmas gift, I can't understand that.
If
Why to buy it for her Eid? Why?
if you had a Christian family saying Eid Mubarak to each other, the
we'll
world's
accept
going crazy.
it. It's fine. No, we'll accept it.
Nah, yeah, we'll accept it.
Yeah.
But imagine if you saw a Christian family.
But
and
I
they're saying
think that's
Eid Mubarak
part
to
of the
each other.
society that we're trying to hope for. I mean, in the West, as Muslims, we're always calling for, respect of diversity, respect of, each other's beliefs. So, I mean, I think we sometimes forget that, okay, fine, there are a lot of things that are associated with Christmas that perhaps we don't necessarily, align with. But there are many things, that I think are, beautiful about this time of year, especially in the Western world. I mean, it's one of the times of years that I think, especially in the West, the Western culture, that people get together as families.
Yeah.
Within our cultures, Arab, Khoja, Pakistani, whatever it may be, it's quite common that family gatherings are quite often.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Whereas I think I'm just going based off my experiences of living here. They're not as common within the Western culture, but this time of year is a time that they, people get together. They'll call up their auntie, their uncle, their grandma, their
Once a
granddad,
year.
how are you doing? And they'll probably try and get together. And I think we saw in COVID time. During the COVID time, it was a really big, it was a struggle for people. And they realized and appreciated that how much Christmas meant to them in terms of getting together. Forget the gifts and, Santa and all that. So I think that part is beautiful in the sense that it reminds us as human beings that we're not individuals. We only survive and thrive as a collective. So I think that's a beautiful part. Another part that I really think is special is this time of year. Charity is a little bit more predominant within the Western society. So people doing things for raising money for during the Christmas period, I don't know, running in a Santa outfit, running a marathon for a charity or things like that you see. So fundraising, etc.
Are you
is
trying to
also
say
another
that the
common
values,
time.
if you don't mind me interrupting, the values of like getting together your family or giving charity is something we can learn from?
Yeah, I don't think it's something we can learn from. I think obviously you can learn from it. I think it's something that, alhamdulillah, within our faith and within our culture, it's kind of there. But what I'm saying is, a society, it's a time of year where people are perhaps nicer to each other. I mean, if you go into a shop, someone will, the cashier will say, have a nice Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, pay for your stuff and, get out the line.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is that, it's a time of year where people are, I think, a bit more appreciative of their families, of their surroundings, of what they have, and they, like and to give and receive gifts. I mean, Islamically, giving a gift and receiving, it's not an Islamic thing. It's not an un-Islamic thing. Sorry.
Are we doing that on Eid?
So I think it's becoming more common, and I don't know if you guys have seen in the past couple of years, people are starting to hang up these Eid moons. Have you seen them?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. These Eid moons. So I mean, it's finding a way of bringing a balance, but also maintaining, like we said, I think it's just
at the
balance,
end of the day, bro,
right?
like the thing is, why is Christmas so popular? Yeah, it's because it's so ingrained in culture that you see it everywhere. Every single year, there's like 100 new Christmas films that come out, for example. Yeah, cartoons, kids shows, all of that stuff, babies like shows on YouTube and all of that stuff. If you're talking about toys, you're talking about music, whatever it is, you find it everywhere. So because it's so ingrained in pop culture and like Western culture,
it's
from
very
birth to death, it's very commercialized, that it basically appeals to everyone. It becomes fun, it becomes attractive, it's colorful, it's exciting. Now, when you're talking about Eid, as an example, it doesn't have that same appeal. Maybe it's because we don't control.
I think it does.
Nah, bro, it does. It doesn't to the people. It does in its core, in its nature, but it doesn't appeal to the people.
You mean to people who are not Muslim?
No. Even to people who are not Muslim, but I'm talking about specifically like Muslim youth, okay, Muslim children. Maybe it's because we don't have Muslim toys and Muslim music and Muslim shows like that.
I think, yeah, it's the commercialized part. Sorry to interrupt, but I think the fact that these holidays are so commercialized, it's so in your face, it's so jazzed up.
Yeah.
It's very hard to escape, like we said. Whereas Eid generally is more, prayers and then family time. And perhaps some families give gifts. I mean, within our families, all the kids always get gifts.
I hope all families get gifts. Yeah.
But I think I definitely think it's the commercialized aspect. The music, the movies. I mean, Elf is the greatest Christmas movie for anyone.
Home Alone.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Elf. But
Home Alone, yeah.
Home Alone
Good
is
memories.
Old school classic.
Yeah. I don't know if that really
1,000
counts as a Christmas movie, really.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I mean, it's just in Christmas time.
Yeah, that's a Christmas film.
But yeah, okay. We'll get onto the movie debate later. But yeah, no, I think it's the lack of the commercialization.
Yeah.
But also, do you think it would be a good idea if we start to now commercialize Eid to try and appease the needs of the youth of today? Because the youth of today, I feel, they're so attracted to their devices, their phones. If things aren't in their face constantly, if they're not constantly stimulated, I mean, it happens to me, and I wouldn't consider myself, extremely young.
Child.
So, we're constantly looking for stimulation, and Eid probably isn't, overly stimulating from the way we traditionally do it. Are we risking that perhaps in 10, 20 years, Eid is no longer what Eid is now? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Because for Christians, I'm sure there's Christians out there who probably feel like their Christian holiday is now being morphed into something that
It's
it
a
wasn't.
secular thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a Christian
Yeah,
holiday.
the honoring of Jesus, honoring of his family.
Its origin is though, Ahmed.
Its origin
important
is,
to remember that.
but bro,
Just because it's lost some Christian value,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean now everyone.
No,
can
of
go be
course,
happy.
yeah, but I mean, when you think of Christmas now, it's not a Christian holiday anymore in its practice, like in its theory and its origin. Yeah, of course, but what Hussein's saying about the future of Islamic holidays, it's like I mean, firstly, I don't ever, personally speaking, unless you live in a Muslim country, I don't foresee a time where Eid becomes like a non-Muslim holiday and everyone in the country celebrate. It doesn't work like that here. But the point being is that, in my opinion, you've got to stimulate. We have to stimulate our children. We have to stimulate our communities because people will lose interest. It's as simple as that. Should we move on to a new topic? So, I wanted to ask specifically on this Isa alayhi salam thing. Yeah. How do you feel about this? Because there's a lot of people who like Muslims who will say it's fine to celebrate Christmas.
They
'cause it's a
justify
birthday.
it
Yeah, it's
based on
justification.
Isa's birth.
How does that make you feel?
I think they're misguided in that common sense. Because for many it's common sense.
That's mad.
For many it's common sense.
Yeah.
Because it's Isa alayhi salam and he's our prophet and let's celebrate his birth.
Yeah.
But he's not born on the 25th of December. Islamically, he's not.
We
So
don't,
I don't know the
use
exact
solar
date right
calendar.
now.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date.
Even within Christian, I
there
think
is debate,
traditions,
there are some in
I
January.
don't think it's actually concurred that it's on the 25th. I think again, shake Google, but I believe it was a holiday that was present around the Roman times, and then it sort of bled in,
I've heard that one.
and so, like we were discussing, a lot of traditions have sort of merged together, and it's no longer held the reverence of the prophet of God has been born on this day. So I think as Muslims though, I think showing a lack of respect, whether we believe in all Christians' views of Prophet Isa alayhi salam as the son of God, for example, obviously we don't agree with that. But by completely dismissing it, or are we also then dishonoring our fellow brothers, our fellow Abrahamic brothers, in the fact that they're revering a prophet of Allah. So I think it's show respect, show kindness.
Yeah, but what about that's to non-Muslims? But
Yeah.
there are Muslims who are like fully justifying it.
Not
do
as
you
an
know
excuse. They're not doing the same for Nabi Musa, for example. In fact, they're not even doing it for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'll be very honest with you. I have seen Muslims from my own community.
Yeah.
They'll have a tree, cut the turkey, crack the crackers.
Yeah, Milad Nabi.
Milad Nabi, nothing
Pin
going
drop
on.
silence.
Nothing going on.
Yeah.
Nothing going
That's
on.
very true.
And if that's
true.
what's happening,
Yeah.
the community is finished, honestly.
I mean, we've got so like.
That's what I mean. Don't let Christmas come at home.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, I mean, bro. To be honest, if look, a lot of people like me and you guys as well, we love to celebrate things. Okay, and I think in our core as Shia, that's something that's in us. Like we love celebration, bruv. We have so many Ma'sumin alayhim salam. We have 14 Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. How many Wilad do we
got 5
celebrate?
Eids.
We've got 5 Eids. We have Jummah once a week, which is we classify as an Eid in our school of thought. But generally speaking, there's so much to celebrate. We have so many things to be grateful for. And if you want to talk about mathematically, we're having Christmas-like Wiladat and celebrations at least once every 3 weeks in a calendar year. If you think of it like that. Because you've got more than 12 Imams. Do you know what I mean? As in more than 12 Ma'sumin. And then obviously you've got the Eids and all of that. So more than one a month.
Celebrations.
Yeah. I mean, so Christmas is just like it's become a secular thing. Yeah, accept it. Okay, fine. In my opinion, respect it. Accept the fact that other people celebrate. That's it.
To me, honestly, it's like Halloween.
Okay.
Honestly, I know people go celebrate it. You know, whether they want to go face paint or drink the alcohol, whatever happens on Halloween.
Trick or treat.
I was going to bring that example now. Even my daughter asked, "Are we going to go trick or treating?" I said,
Yeah.
no. But if someone comes knock
Free chocolates, mate. Free
someone's going to knock our door.
Can't turn that down.
I'm going to give them candy if they knock the door. But we're not going to go out there trick or treating.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, accepting and understanding what's happening around you, completely different than going and doing it yourself.
I think this is going to be a divisive podcast. I'm not going to lie. I think people, guys at home, let us know how you feel. Hit the comments. Tell us how you feel. Do you go trick-or-treating?
Yeah.
Do you celebrate these things?
I only
to make it even more controversial, sorry guys. I mean, I'm sure you guys all saw, I'm sure the viewers saw as well, the posts about in Saudi Arabia, they celebrated their first Halloween festival. You know, people dressed as witches and wizards and
it was very
zombies.
Weird to see.
You know, literally less than an hour drive or a couple of hours drive from the Hararm.
They went above and beyond more than the
and so
honestly.
it raises a question. This is, you know, like we were talking about earlier, you know, are we manipulating our own faith, our own culture to try and fit into the Western ideology?
I think we are.
And can that then bleed into our other things like our Eids and things?
I think this conversation can go on forever. There's so many like counter arguments there because obviously we've seen, for example, a lot of the Maraja may say if you're not if your religion is not in question, then it's fine.
But is our religion in question
How
when
your religion
in the city or the you know the country where the Prophet brought the message of Islam to? We're
I
celebrating
agree
a
with you,
pagan holiday.
But all I'm saying is I think there's going to be a lot of people who will say, "What's the problem? If I'm having a nice time, my kids are having a nice time, and we're taking part in society's norms." Do you know what I mean? Without having to shake my belief or my religion. Do you know what I mean?
But is it about building? I think it's about building respect, understanding. That's what we want to instill in our children, in the youth of tomorrow. Respect and understanding, not let's follow the sheep. You know, not follow each other like cattle. I think that will grow. Grow our community into the leaders of the world. If we're not just following the norms of what everyone's doing around us, but be aware of what's going on around you. And I think don't be a sheep. You know,
unless you
I understand, respect. You know,
unless you want to build what?
Be a goat.
A goat. Yeah. Hussein is the goat, mashallah.
So yeah, it's. I think it's understanding and respecting. So.
Sorry, bro, I'm gonna say it. Yeah.
I think that's why I was invited on this pod, because I have a beard.
There's like a scale of a beard, left to right. Do you remember that, guys? A few years ago, we went out, me and Hussein, and this is when I was like, not as blessed as I am now. Not that I'm
probably in our early 20s. Yeah.
I really had like a light stubble, and we took a picture, 3 of us, and Hussein put it on Instagram and captioned it: beard scale 0 to 100. And I think that applies today as well, mashallah. He's got the goat beard.
Mashallah.
But yeah, no, I think it
shows the wisdom.
Honestly.
No, I think it's an interesting topic, and it's definitely something I've discussed with friends, family in the past, and I mean it can be divisive, as we've already realized. But yeah, I mean, what else? What other things do you think it's factoring? I mean, for example, let's talk about this year specifically.
Fatimiyya.
The fact that Fatimiyya,
Yeah.
you know, is falling
Excuse me.
within this Christmas period.
Yeah.
Does it not then highlight to us the fact that, you know, the fact that our months are based on the lunar calendar, and obviously the Western calendar is the solar calendar, that if we're not prioritizing our own faith, then this will happen. It's not going to be the only time, you know, that Fatimiyya or perhaps Muharram or, you know, Ramadan may be falling during these periods.
No, I'm happy
how are
when-
we gonna adjust? How can we say to our kids one year we're gonna have a tree, we're gonna have turkey, we're gonna have this, we're gonna have presents, and then next year, oh, by the way, we can't do it now because there's
you're right.
Fatimiyya.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How does that make sense? So, yeah, that's
Very
like
good
another
point.
thing. I mean, I know of Muslims that have already got Christmas trees in their house, like, and then you're gonna go to mosque for, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not here to say whatever. I mean, I've been to my work Christmas dinner, so I'm just gonna put it out there.
Did you get a cracker?
Well, to be fair, my manager's a Shia Muslim, so
Mashallah.
I was like, it's all right. It's a
acceptable.
Muslim one. But yeah, no, obviously catering to the staff that we have. Not everyone's a Muslim, so
Yeah, of course,
you know,
it's important.
you know, it's a time of year again that you give back to the people that you know, that you work with. And it's a nice time to spend together. So, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, I liked you mentioned the point of our calendars clashing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I remembered a couple of years ago, in Iraq, the entire Christians in Iraq, including the churches of Iraq, did not celebrate Christmas. Why?
wow,
40.
It clashed on Arba'in Day.
Wow.
Out of respect
That's
for Abdullah
unbelievable.
Hussein
Mashallah.
alayhi salam, they said the Christians in
amazing.
Iraq are not going to celebrate Christmas today. I
Can
found
you
that
imagine?
amazing.
Their biggest holiday,
Yeah.
their biggest season.
Shout out to them.
Mashallah.
I mean, that should be a lesson to us, no, here.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, Christians who, like we said, their main figurehead, like for us is Prophet Muhammad, you know, their main figurehead is
Jesus.
Prophet Isa. So
Yeah.
the fact that they can respect, you know, other people's culture, you know, within the society they live. But again, I think that's a respect of the society they live in. So I think it's for us as well. It's respecting the society we live in, but having, you know, forming those boundaries and those barriers, that
Yeah,
understanding. I'm sure they would have had to explain to their children that, you know what,
This year
we
can't.
live in this country.
Can't do
Here,
Christmas.
you know, Islam is the predominant
yeah.
religion, and we respect our neighbors. We live together in harmony, and so when it's, you know, a sad time for them, we're there for them. When it's a happy time for them, we're there for them, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a beautiful thing. I didn't know that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, if anyone's unsure, we're recording this before Fatimiyya,
Yeah.
the third narration. So we are entering, of course, for us, that phase where Majalis will start in a few days' time, and the Christmas, as in Christmas is still a few days away for us as well. But it's an important conversation to have from now because, you know, we're at that phase now. Everyone plans, you know, their coming week and so on, and we're recording on a Monday. So you start to think, like, you know, what's going to happen this week? This weekend, either you're going to Majalis or you're celebrating Christmas. Or for some people, both, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an identity thing. A big part of what we talk about on the podcast is identity. You know, your religious, your spiritual, your social identity, all of these things. And this is a classic example of how hard it is to be a Muslim in the West. That's what After Maghrib is about.
Yeah.
It's about we examine the challenges that Muslims face in the West. So
Well, I think we make it hard.
come on, bro.
Islam is easy.
Islam is easy.
When
yeah,
it comes
yeah,
to
of
topics
course,
like this.
yeah, as in we sometimes overcomplicate things. Yeah.
But I think, like, a point just came to my head. I mean, you know, doesn't it all come down to our intention, right? Anything
of
we do
course.
in Islam, you know,
Al-a'mal
if
bin-niyat.
your niyyah is not correct, it's not in the right place, then there's no fruit in the action that you're doing. So as long as our niyyah is clear, we're, you know, affirming that, you know, if you follow Sayyid Sistani, you know, I'm not doing X, Y, or Z, or not doing X, Y, or Z because I feel like it may or may not mean that I'm promoting or engaging with another religion's belief system, or in this case, sometimes pagan belief systems. As long as the niyyah is there, then I think it comes down to the individual. As long as you're not compromising your faith, Islam has to come first. And if that's the bottom line, then you decide. As long as you're 100% sure that, fine, if I do these things, Islam isn't coming second. If you can truly say that to yourself, then fine.
Yeah.
But if you're starting to say, well, no, I'm actually compromising a bit on, you know, my Islamic beliefs because I'm not going to go to this Fatimiyya Majlis because I want to have turkey and whatever with my friends and family. I don't know. I mean, not everyone has to go to mosque. I'm not saying that, but do you get where I'm coming from?
Everyone should go to mosque.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, where possible, obviously, you know, everyone has their own situation, but yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I think it's been, mashallah, it's been like eye-opening conversation.
It's been interesting.
It's been interesting. I kind of feel more confused now than I did before.
Well, it was interesting that all three of us have complete different understanding to Christmas, like how it is.
Yeah.
To us.
At the end of the day, Amir al-Mu'mineen says,
it's nice to learn from you both.
Yeah, no, 100%, and likewise. But like you said, Husein, muhasabah, like doing that self-accountability is very important. We know Amir al-Mu'mineen says, remember Allah before, during, and after every action.
Yeah.
And it's not just your day-to-day, minute by minute actions, but also your practices, you know, generally. So if when you're deciding what to do, and this goes for us as well and everyone at home, make sure you think about what you do before you do it. You know, it's a simple thing. It's easier said than done, of course, but inshallah we can put it all into practice. And wherever you are around the world, inshallah, may this coming season of family time and also mourning and learning and growth and development, inshallah, be one of blessing for you and for your family. You know, this is an opportunity. We can find a way to, I think, collaborate that family and charitable side of Christmas with Fatimiyya, because, of course, there's so many things that go hand in hand. You know, the message to say the Fatima Zahra, Salaam Allahi alayha, and, of course, the family time and all of that stuff is like for like, you know. Yeah, any last comments, Said?
Are you doing anything for your Christian neighbours?
To be really honest, I haven't thought about it, to be frank. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would happily. I don't think I'd go out of my way to buy a gift.
In the past, I think we've just handed out chocolates.
Chocolates. Cards. Cards is nice.
Neighbours,
I mean, in work you do it. It's like I write.
I mean,
my
during
clients'
Eid,
cards.
saying that during Eid, quite a few of our neighbours came and gave us
of
gifts.
course,
So,
That's
so
very
yeah,
true.
I think it's just returning the favour, sharing
cards,
the love. So
chocolates. It goes a long way.
it's a small gesture of respect. So no.
It goes a really long way. Yeah,
But
it's
no
a very good
Christmas
idea.
wreaths
What about
or
you?
anything in front of your door.
No,
Okay.
no plans. What about you?
Alhamdulillah.
No, not for me.
Inshallah, we'll learn, and hopefully this time next year we will have this conversation again. We're gonna shut the door.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hit that subscribe button, enter the giveaway. Don't forget, and inshallah, we will see you next week. Assalamu alaikum. All right, before I end, Husein, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Say
Guys
we didn't thank Husein.
Wallahi. No, thank you for coming on, honestly.
No.
It's been an eye-opener.
No, I've enjoyed it. It was nice to have a sort of more relaxed-ish chat.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an interesting topic, and you know it can go on forever because there's
So
a lot
are
of
you a
things
more
linked.
serious person than... You're more serious than you're serious here today?
No, whenever I'm in front of the camera, I don't know. I'm.
How about we're not in front of the camera, Husein?
Then I'm a bit more chilled.
Yeah.
You know.
Husein and I used to live together.
I
know
just
that.
want to let the listeners know
Yeah.
that we had to restart this podcast about 5 minutes in
Why?
because they can't be together.
Guys, I'm just saying right here, right now, this guy, Husein Bandali, mashallah, he's the gem of a human being.
Alhamdulillah.
But we have shared too many memories in life that it's just crazy. You know what
Outside
I mean?
of Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
More memories flashing back now. Anyway, guys,
Yeah.
nice to see you all. And again, thank you, Husein. Thank you, Sayed. And inshallah, we'll see you guys next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.